Welcome to this episode of the Timers Playbook. We're back for 2024. Very excited about this year. And by all accounts, it has been a tough 2023. And I think for most people, and particularly fathers. So I've got Usambulo. He's back on the show today. And we're going to talk through some of the highs and lows of 2023 and what we're looking forward to as dads for 2024. How are you doing, brother?
Yeah. Yo, I'm good, my man. I'm good.
Yeah.
Like I say, just sleep deprived, man.
You've got a 2-year-old now.
No.
She's not 2 yet.
No.
Why am I rushing?
She's still a baby. That's why I'm sleep deprived. She's still a baby. She is 8 months old.
Yeah.
And then, there's a 5-year-old as well.
Okay.
I thought he'd be sleeping better and allowing us to sleep better, but like, fine.
So what does your night look like then?
Oh, man. If we're lucky, we getting woken up once in a night.
Yeah.
And if we're unlucky, which is seemingly like most of the time, we're waking up twice
Okay.
in the night. Although I tend to not hear some of these disruptions, but at least once a night you're waking up at like 1:30, 2 a.m.
Yeah. So isn't the baby wants to eat or whatever it is?
Change nappy, eat. Like the other day, she woke up, fed, changed nappy, and now she just wanted to play. I'm just like, it's 2:21. I look at the clock, it's 2:21. What are we doing?
Yo.
She just wants to play.
Okay.
But other than that,
you did say that you want another baby when you and I said to you, no, there's no need for another one. There really isn't.
No. We grew up with siblings. Our kids also need siblings.
Fair enough. But the gap. By the way, just out of curiosity, why the gap? Or was it something that just happened, or were you guys planned it that way?
No, we didn't plan it that way. The gap would have been smaller if it were up to us, but there were complications, like medical complications, that sort of forced us to take a longer break. In fact, we were advised not to do it.
Okay.
So, like the wife and I always say, we just decided to faith it. And, go for the second one. And,
okay.
This is where it is now.
Okay. No, dope, man. So we'll get into today's discussion. Eh?
Yeah.
So please remember to rate the content at the end of the show and subscribe and share with anyone who might find benefit in this kind of content. Cool. So I wanted to talk about, because normally we're chilling, we're taking our kids to school. And a lot of our conversations is about, basically. But I was like, no, actually some things worked out really well.
Yeah.
So I wanted to focus on the things that were wins, essentially. It worked out really well for 2023. And obviously some of the tough moments for 2024. So before we start, how do you prepare for a year? Are you a resolutions person? Do you put the calendar together? You're like, when are this year? Again.
Sure, that's a good question, because it's something that I've recently started thinking about, if I'm honest with you. But generally speaking, I just wing it for the year. I promise, I just wing it, and I think more recently, I've started actually thinking about being more intentional about the year.
Okay.
And so, it's like in the last year or two, that's when I started trying to be more intentional about the year.
Okay.
But ordinarily, I just wing it and pambi.
So now, when you're being intentional, what have you put in place?
Just goals.
Okay.
To say, I want to do this, and that has sort of forced me now to think about how I want to do it. Instead of just putting it out in the ether and saying and just thinking, this is what I want to do. This is and
hoping for the best.
And hoping for the best. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's. It's just recently where I've started being more intentional.
Okay.
Yeah.
So me, I'm a planner.
Yeah.
And I write shit down all the time.
And how's that worked?
No, it's dope.
Yeah.
Like for me, most of the things I am able to do and to keep to, But I think last year, because it was the first time the kids had gone to the new school, you know. So the best laid plans didn't go according to plan. But I found it's a good time to leverage off the hype of resolutions and whatnot.
Yeah,
you know, because that's the just nature of things. Things are starting out, work is in meetings, blah blah blah. So you write your shit down, write down your goals, you know. So for me, it's just a continuation from last year.
For sure.
And then carrying on with that. And it's easier for me now because I can say, look, we're starting the new year. This is what we're doing for myself, for my family. You know, 3 months down the line, generally my wife would decide otherwise. But me, I'm like, no. Yeah, well, and the kids are going to grow also.
For sure.
And get into other extracurricular activities. So I think part of the planning is to be a bit more amiable to life as it comes to me.
For sure. So that's interesting. How often do you take stock? You know, do you go back to what you've written down and say, this is where I am, this is what's happened, this is what hasn't happened, and how do we sort of adjust? And, you know, how often do you take stock?
Well, daily.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
and then the big goals, I try to do it like maybe monthly or so,
Okay,
or maybe quarterly, but it depends on what it is, you know. So like now, everybody does like fitness goals as an example, right? So I'd put my plan in place, and in terms of what I'm trying to reach, and then obviously depending on the program that you're on, I'd look at it daily and whatnot. This business, this finance, you know. So for me, now want to do it daily. So that I reinforce it in my subconscious that this has to happen. But for the most part, except for finances, I'm able to hit my goals. You see, once I get that one locked in,
you gone.
No, I'm gone. Right. It's the only one I can't just get my head around. I lean.
Hey man, you and I both. But I mean, I think a lot of us, you know.
Cool, man. Yeah. So cool. I asked you for your top three wins. So I'm gonna start with the positive stuff before we get to other things. You said your top 3 wins for 2023. The first one is birth of my daughter under difficult circumstances.
Without a doubt, man. I think, you know, like, and I think I alluded to this earlier when we were chatting, that we were essentially not supposed to have another child, you know, because of medical reasons. Obviously, without divulging too much, but you know, it was a complicated pregnancy, to say the least. And you know, we just decided that we're going to faith it because this is what we want for our family, and that's what we, you know. And so, you know, we just put it in God's hands, and we're just like, you know, this is it. And lo and behold, May the 18th, 2023, my little girl was born, and amazing.
Now,
you know?
daddy's girl now, I hear.
Yeah. Oh, obsessed with daddy, obsessed. Which is great. I don't want to lie. I love it. Yeah. You know, but not all the time.
No, I saw when I came to your crib, I was like, hey, but you can't do nothing. You can't put this person down. You can't move.
But I love it. I love it, you know. So yeah, so she was born. It's been 8 months, you know. She also struggled a little bit because she was born prematurely, like her lungs and things like that. And she kept getting like recurring bronchiolitis and whatnot. But I think we're at a sort of point where she's starting to outgrow it. And that's what the ped had said, is that, you know, as they grow older, they start to outgrow it. So she's on chronic medication at the moment, but that's also going to come to an end, and things seem to be stabilizing. So. Okay. Yeah, so that is a highlight.
It's a highlight, man. And when you're going through that, you were like, when you're like, hey, if the doctor says, if there's a sniff, nyana, hey, you're a good doctor.
Yeah. I'm that guy, hypochondriac. But it's hypochondriac / helicopter parent.
Yeah. So you didn't want nothing.
Yeah, I'm that guy. Because, and I think, you know, it just became like a fixation on, you know, is she well? You know, what can we do to make sure she's okay? You know, et cetera, et cetera. And we even ran out of savings, medical aid savings, which hasn't happened in a long time.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. But because we were going to the ped so much, you know, and you don't want to compromise, you know, you don't want to leave things to chance. At least that was my logic, you know. So we just kept on, you know, making sure that she's okay. You know? So, but yeah, I'm definitely that guy, you know, straight to the ped.
Yeah, and you know, talking on medical aid, I think that's another thing that I really need to focus on now. Because I think with kids, you need more of it. And I'm not really understanding medical savings and what you need, you know, because you find out things as and when it happens, you know. So like TJ now has to go to theater for his teeth or whatever. And they're like, no, we can cover this, can't cover that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but you know what I mean? So, medical aid is a big thing now.
It's a tricky one. It's a really tricky one,
So my one was kids surviving first year at the German school.
Yeah.
You know, so new language, new environment completely, you know. So the survival was learning a new language, particularly for TJ, the eldest one, because he's in grade R, he needs to go to grade 1, which is primary school then, which is a lot more instructive, very serious uniform. Formal. So he had 1 year to learn German enough to be competent to move. And he did that. The smaller one, he's okay because they recommend that they should have at least 2 years in pre-primary before that. Yeah, so they've done well, man.
No dope.
Yeah, very proud of myself.
Yeah.
You know, so I've learned that a lot of what they do, the professionals, I'm sure there's a need for it. But if you carve out time, like he was having trouble holding a pencil. And tying his laces. We then had to carve out time to be like, let's sit with him almost every day. You know, let's buy material, buy books for tracing, drawing, blah, blah, blah. Hey, it was tough.
And I think, I can imagine, man. And I think that's what, you know, that's the essence of parenting.
Yeah.
You know, and not ceding, you know, responsibility to just the school and the systems, quotes unquote. Also, you know, being actively involved in the education of the child, you know, and also doing those things. And I think that's something, it's easier said than done, but, you know, if you get it right, it's a massive
because it's time
advantage.
Because, I mean, I fought a lot with my son because I tend to fight a lot with my son, my firstborn.
running a tight ship.
I'm trying to run a tight ship, but also because remember, I'm also learning. I'm trying to figure it out. So you don't know how far you can push him. How far he'll push you,
for sure,
you know. So, and you're like, no, you need to know this thing, but now you're putting pressure on him. He's a kid, like it's hairy, you know. But what I'm learning about it is, I just have to learn my children and their temperament.
100%.
So the eldest one, if I'm with him, he learns much better. So he's like, come sit with me. He's not just give me the coursework and then let me do it. You know, you sit with him. Once he gets it, then he's like, cool, now you can go. But if I'm not with him, that boy, fucking distraction.
So similarly, and obviously our kids go to the same school. Similarly, we were concerned that the language would be some sort of a barrier, and that it's an experience he wouldn't necessarily welcome and you know, take to, so to speak. But we were pleasantly surprised that, you know, he was open to learning the language, even though, like, you know, if you put him on the spot, he's not going to say anything in German. But at his own time, in his own sort of way, you know, you from time to time, like, he'll be playing games and he'll be mouthing things in German, and he'll be, you know, coming home and he'll be asking for things, and we're just like, oh, okay, this guy seems to be, you know, open to the experience, you know. And he's also made friends, and, you know, he just seems very settled and he's happy. And my son is vocal, you know. So he, and I think we're lucky to have a son, like a child that is vocal like that. He'll say, I really like my school. Like, I'm really happy. And then that's how we sort of know, you know, how things are going. So overall, pleasant experience. And he's really taken well to the experience. And even when we spoke to the teachers, you know, because you do that evaluation end of the year, there was nothing alarming, you know, that told us that maybe, you know, we need to maybe consider another option. I'm sure it's still early days, but it seems like everything is on track. So, and it was quite daunting, you know. You can imagine Black Zulu parents taking their child to German school. What is that, you know? And also in, you know, when friends and, you know, in social circles, it comes up, you know, when your child goes to school, then you always get the question.
We're always having that conversation.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And you're constantly having to explain.
No, but you must have your speech ready by now.
No, for sure, for
Down
sure.
pat. You must have it ready.
For sure,
Global
for sure.
thinkers. That's our thing.
You know what I mean? So yes, but all those things, made us question whether we made the right decision. But the more he goes to school and the more he comes back and we can see that he's happy with the experience, then, it tells us that at least things are on track. So that was another positive, like a big win for us, because it was a decision. It was a big decision to make.
Yeah. No, major one. And then having two of them, was his transition? Did he have feelings towards it, or?
He absolutely adores his little sister. He loves his little sister, but there were in the beginning, there were signs of I think frustration, because I think naturally you all gravitate towards the baby, right?
Yes. What are we gonna do?
And I remember him saying the one day, I remember he first said it. He said, "You guys love her more than you love me." Oh, and it cut deep, I think wife even cried, and I also felt it, but there was a part of me who feels like, we're being played here, So we let it slide, and then he said it again. And the third time he said it, I put my foot down, and I was like, no, this is crazy, because I started noticing a pattern. That's what he would go to as a means to sort of deflect discipline. So when he does something wrong and we discipline him,
He's like suddenly
his retort is like, well, you don't love me, you love her.
Yeah.
And that day I put my foot down firmly, and he's never done it ever again. So now he accepts his discipline, and that's it.
I think it's their class, because Paul used to do the similar thing. Why am I always in trouble? Oh,
you see,
I'm a bad guy.
Yeah, because you start realizing there's a ploy here, and you're like, nah.
And it's always when they're in trouble. It's never like now we're sitting.
You know what I mean?
Fine.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
all right. So my second win.
Yeah.
This one is a little bit dark and a little bit somber. But in the greater family, we only had one death. Because 2022 was fucking hectic, bro. My aunt passed, I think Tessa's friend, daughter, you know what I mean? So I think before that, we're probably going to a funeral every 2 months.
Jeez, bro.
Some very close. So yeah, it was 2022 was hectic, but there was obviously a knock-on effect into next year with that. So last year I think there was one young man that died, which was very sad, close to the family as well. But I think also generally society, there was a lot of knock-on effect in terms of, I think, health and mental health from COVID,
yeah,
which I don't think a lot of us really dealt with and even had the tools. Because I think we just thought time will pass and then things will be cool.
Yeah.
Kanti, financially, if you lost your job, you lost your home, someone died in 2022 because of COVID, that thing is going to stay with you for years, man.
Sure.
So yeah, that was, I won't say it was a win, but there was less strain and heartache. Less, even though there still was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you in the sense that, obviously, like you're saying, you're still carrying that trauma from the year prior, and then to almost get reprieve.
Yeah,
I know it sounds weird.
Yeah, it does sound weird.
Yeah, almost get reprieve. Yeah.
No, I think when you're in that mode, I'm dead serious. Like when in that year, or the year 2021, 2022, when you're in that thing, you, as soon as you see a phone call from a family, you're like,
it's panic stations. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Sure.
That way it was okay-ish in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your the third win. Clearer sense of what's important for me.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah. For me, to me.
You are clear now.
I think so. No, Chief, we are very clear. No, man, I think, and this sort of, in terms of talking about, and I suppose we'll get into it in terms of like the difficulties of the year, but we're still on a positive note. I think for me, last year, because of the situation we were in, and because of, whatever was happening around us, it forced me to pause and take stock.
Okay.
And I think with that came a sort of breakthrough in realization, that this is how I want to live. These are the things that are important to me, and this is how I want to move, forward. Because I think there was just a lot of haze, in the year, and a lot of difficulty. But one thing that came out of that was just me sort of centering, pulling myself towards myself.
So what is important to you then?
What's important to me?
Yeah.
I think reaffirmed sense of family, re-engaging my spiritual life and spiritual thought and growth, which is something that I think had fallen by the wayside. And also just self-awareness, man. Because I've been on this journey of self-awareness. I think I might have told you that I've been in therapy for the last 3 years or so. And through that journey as well, there've just been certain breakthroughs and realizations that came with it. Like, for example, one of the biggest things, if I could say, gave me a sense of clarity, was the fact that I'm obsessed with control, and I struggle with anxiety as a result. So if I can't control things, I get very anxious and whatnot, and then it just has a lot of negative knock-on effects. So once through the therapy journey, once I could understand my obsession with control as a contributor to my anxiety, that's when I was just like, I felt free from this burden of anxiety, to an extent. But obviously, it's not a one-day thing. Sometimes it's work. Sometimes there's triggers, things come and go, and you fall back into those patterns. But then now you've got the tools to work yourself out of that place. So that for me was a particularly big win.
And you highly recommend therapy?
I'm an advocate for therapy. I'm like a missionary, proselytizing, spreading the therapy gospel.
Yeah,
especially amongst us blacks and black men.
Hey, so
in particular, blacks in general, men in particular.
Hey,
yeah. So that was quite a big one for me. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And the toughest ones now.
No, but your what's your third?
My third one.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I made it through the year.
Yeah. What does that mean?
It means I survived. No. Last year was tough. Man.
Yeah.
And it's cool to take stock and just be grateful that you managed to get through the year. And that is something that we take for granted, right? So you wake up every day, you do what you do, and it becomes normal.
Yeah.
That it's just what I do. But the fact that I made it through the year, knowing full well that so many people I know or close to me or my family or my wife had passed, and so many young people had passed, artists have passed, people that you don't think, like, I didn't think. I woke up one morning and AKA passed away.
Bro.
Not in my wildest dreams. Did I ever think that was possible? So you have to reckon with your mortality. And then just be grateful for life. So I'm really grateful for life. So for real.
So true.
And it's good to have made it into another year. So you have the opportunity to I guess fix or whatever, do what you need to do.
Definitely.
Knowing full well that it's not guaranteed. So yeah, that's why.
No, 100%, man. I'm with you. When you talk about the AKA thing, he's such a larger than life character. Almost. It's like, how does this person die? I mean, for the longest time, I still even can't listen to his music because I'm just like, no way.
Yeah, no. I can, but I can't believe that I live in a world without AKA, and simply because he's my top 3 artists. Of all time, right? So it's and let me say rappers. It's him. Well, at the top, it's Pro Kid. It's 50 Cent, and it's AKA.
Sure.
So my kids love AKA. We love AKA. I think that's probably the only rapper or artist that we really listen to that I'm even okay with my kids listening to, because obviously a lot of hip hop is
Yeah.
it's not age appropriate and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very weird for me. If it's your favorite artist, right? If it's someone that you bought their music,
100%, yeah.
seen them perform, it's weird now when they aren't there anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
No, so
But
true.
every time I play it, the kids will be like, "Oh, is that AKA?" And they want to see a picture and whatnot. You know? So yeah,
No, for sure.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah, man.
tough things. But this one is for everybody. Finances.
Yo, 2023.
What are we gonna do about this thing? Man?
Hey, man, because it's almost like it doesn't matter who you speak to.
No, it doesn't.
You know, to the point where you're actually shocked that, wait a minute, we're all in the same boat.
Yeah.
You know?
Imali ayikho jo. Or ikhona or thina sazi ukuzithola kanjani.
Yay, fit. You know, there's this refrain in South Africa, Cyril's economy. You know, hey, which is synonymous with this state of brokenness that we're experiencing. But yeah. I think that is shared. You know, finances, man. So many adjustments that also came with you know, the decision to have another kid. It just because my wife is self-employed and she's, you know, in an industry that is, you know, pay as you earn, basically, like earn as you work, so to speak. So when we had another kid, at some point she had to go to maternity leave, if you will. But obviously it's not like a conventional maternity leave where you still have some benefits. So that put a span in the works in terms of finances, you know, so sure, fair enough. And as you sort of riding, you know, that wave, then obviously the kid, you know, our older son in a new school, and that obviously cost a little more. You know, we also recently moved into a bigger house, and that also wreaked havoc on the finances.
Yeah.
You don't. I was just laughing with someone who also had bought a house to say, yes, you know, you don't realize how much of a black hole, you know, because you're paying a much bigger bond, and things go wrong. It's you.
Yeah.
You
like
know?
when your gate is
When
stuck.
your gate is not working, and you know, a lot of those things happened.
Yeah.
And you can't ignore them because gate is security, and you don't have a security, like, you know, person, for example, and you don't have anyone to call on to, so you have to find that money, you know. So there was just a lot. I ended up, you know, even doing things like selling the car, you know, selling my car, you know.
Which is your other point that now,
you know.
yeah, because obviously your wife, if she's an artist and she's independent, she's traveling a lot.
You see,
You know,
so you
and
know,
there's drop-offs and there's swimming and there's
completely divergent schedules and whatnot, you know. So even that, you know, is a bit harrowing, you know, to have to now work out. Now we're sharing a car. How do we work out all these
it's you
things?
too, Pella.
Yeah,
And things can't vibe every day.
you know. So yeah, man, finances is a big one.
Yeah,
it's a big one.
I remember when my wife and I, we still have one car, but when we were younger, I was a DJ and she did a lot of things, you know. But I remember, so I'd have to go here and then pick her up. So we're together in the car every day. Every day. Morning, evening, Mlanda, every day. So that was an interesting time. You know, and when the first kid came, then it was that. You know? Okay.
So yeah, finances, yo.
Yeah, no, same here. I think the school is the one that really caught me, you know, because I mean, paying fees is one thing, and then you discover the small things that come every month, you know. So me and you'll be chilling. They're like, oh, there's an event, you know, you need to bring 1, 2, 3, which generally it really isn't a lot of money. But the surprising thing is when it starts adding up, it's amazing, like how there's 500 here, 300 here for this thing, and then at the event there's plastic swords for 150 that they break on the day. You know, and now you're panicking. You're like, I'm not gonna spend 300
because they're crying and they want another one
because you just broke the sword. You know, and they wanna buy slashies. And you're like, you know, but all of that is just fuck, man. It's stressful. Man.
Yeah.
So we need to sort this money out.
Oh, we need to. We need to.
If there's any goal that you fix is money.
Did you play Powerball? Is one.
Of course.
123 mil.
I mean, I woke up thinking, this one is mine.
You'll get an SMS saying, "Teppo, come collect your winnings." To be honest, I forgot to play, and I was.
And then you felt
myself.
like, oh shit, I missed it.
Kicking myself.
No, you did not miss it.
But then I was also like, I'll roll over for me for next week.
But this thing, the most I've won is 15 rand.
At least you've won something. I have never.
No, we know it's a scam. You know.
Chief, but people are winning.
But I've always pictured myself and I blew it. Yeah, when I'm on 100 million, I buy about bang it, Sambulo 10 meter. Yeah, no, that's yeah. We definitely need to fix that.
Yeah.
So the other thing, I think, part of King, this whole thing with finances, and I think for me it led to, so one of the toughest things was in a nutshell being diagnosed with burnout. You know, but that was all. It's a cumulative thing of stress, because debt is a motherfucker. It's a killer. And dealing with debt is painful, especially for me who does not want debt. I don't want to run from it. I don't want the calls. Just take your money and go.
Yeah.
You know, but the balancing act is, okay, sharp. I need to pay the debt, but like now we're talking. My son's goggles for swimming. You know, which he will survive without. But I know the pushback from him now every week. Daddy, my goggles. Smang Mang's got goggles, so I don't have goggles. Which one do I deal with? My son pestering me, or fucking Tembi
Debt collector,
debt collection agency one? You know. But I think in the end, all of it, when it puts together, that's what you're talking about. That looking after yourself and therapy and talking through things, you know, and prioritizing stuff. You know, very important. Even though I thought I had it all lined up, I did not.
Did it shock you?
Of course.
When they said this is actually burnout.
Yeah.
Because it seems like such a non-invasive thing. You know,
yeah.
like if you got a headache, you got a headache. You can feel it. It's painful. It's direct. You know, But if somebody says what you're struggling with is burnout, you know, so it shocks you. And then do you know where to go now? Like, what do I do to deal with this thing?
Yeah. So I think a lot of it was you ignore the signs, right? So obviously I'm a guy, so physically that's the first point where I'm like, okay, something's wrong.
Okay.
You ignore the signs. So I was exhausted for a long time, tired, you know, beyond belief. Very short with the kids and the wife. Generally, you know, even though you're going to gym, you are meditating, but it's the thing that whatever it is that you do, intention, like you're saying, is very important. Believing in what you're doing and applying the principles that you learn. You know, so a lot of us, you know, we can do stuff, but not believe what we're doing. So you're like, okay, I'm meditating, and then you're like, meditation. Anyway. So you're living with negative self-talk.
Yeah.
I get it. But that stress that you put on yourself physiologically in terms of the hormones, like cortisol that runs through your body, that's the stuff that manifests in how your body actually reacts.
For sure.
You know? So it's the same thing with you're happy, you know. So if you get a dopamine hit and you're chasing it, for example, you know, it's got its own things. So if you're happy, you feel a particular way, you look a particular way, right? So if you're stressed, it's the same thing. So we think that when you're thinking something, that's all it's going to be. But you realize that you're feeling it, you're internalizing it, it then becomes essentially part of your neurocircuitry, right? So it's part of what you do. That's why we're so addicted sometimes to stress. You know, that's why we can stay in a shitty job for years. Because
yes. And
you can't wake up one day saying you're humble. It's like, no, but let it go. It's been 20 years.
No, for sure.
You know?
For sure, yeah.
So I understood the theory. But again, it's those things where you think it wouldn't happen to me. But I didn't realize that I'm practicing like negative self-talk. Like, oh, fuck, debt. I will never get out of this thing. Blah, 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 blah. So eventually the body was like, oh, pass. You know?
And that's the thing. You actually don't realize how much these non-tangible things can actually manifest and have real consequences on your physiologically.
Yeah.
You know? So
it's, I mean, part of it was also this family stuff, right? So with the deaths, and my mother is been in and out of hospital. So now I've noticed, like every time I have to go to the hospital, when I come back, I'm knackered. So again, that's the sign right there, right?
for sure.
Because emotionally, this is a lot. So I come back from that, I'm like, I'm tired. But generally, I'd be like, it's normal, you know, I was on the road. But not realizing that, no, it's actually dealing with this situation. I'm stressed because my mom is not well.
Yeah.
You know, and then you go through this thing of doctors. You know, she's not happy with what they're telling her, you know, and then you have to take her home and come back. So all of that is stressful.
Yeah.
And then I come back and you'll be like, let me just leave it and get back to work. You get to work, there's none of the stress. You're adding it on it.
For sure.
Because you're like, I know, I'll keep moving. But then it packs up.
Yeah.
So now I come back, for example, do I know? I'll be like, hey, it's been a tough morning. Let me take a nap.
Okay.
Or, you know, let me just switch off for a little bit, you know? Tell work, I'll be right back. I need an hour. So just to decompress, you know? And then when you come back, because also you want to get back to work, cool. And when the kids come back from school, you're okay.
Yeah.
So if you're keeping this up, 3 o'clock, the kids come home. And the kids are on. The kids, when they're here, they're on a high when they get here.
Yeah.
Then it's school. I want ice cream. No, go wash. I don't want to wash. I don't want to eat. What are you doing? Why the fuck are you pissing in the bath? But why are you drinking the bath water after he pissed? And these are actual conversations.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So you don't realize that you are in a perpetual cycle of things.
Yeah.
So every time you have to think about where you are, realize it for what it is.
For sure.
It's an event.
For sure.
It's no reflection on you.
Yeah.
Finish it. Now I'm moving on to this other thing, but take a break in between. Move on to the next thing and deal with it for what it is.
No, 100%,
You know?
man. 100%. Yeah, because that self-awareness, man, is so critical. It's because, like you're saying, cumulatively, all these things, they add up, and then next thing is it's an explosion. You know, you're throwing things around, you're throwing the kids around, and people don't understand what's going on with this child.
You know, and you obviously you'll take it out. And I think my other third thing was it put a heavy strain on the marriage. You know, because both of us are going through financial stuff. There's other stress from work. My wife is an entrepreneur. The stresses for that, you know. So then now you two are at loggerheads. And now when you're fighting with your partner, that's when I'm like, fuck this. Nothing is working.
Yeah.
Because that one you can't, you stay together. You sleep in the same bed.
Yeah.
If you guys are not vibing, where are you going to go?
It's,
We're not our fathers. We can't just go to cruiser or not come back for 3 days.
and not be accountable. Yeah.
You know?
Things are different.
You know, sometimes I sit there, I'm like, now I'm going.
You know, when they say daddy left to go buy milk and he never came back, you start understanding those.
No, I got it, but I can see it. You know, I really can. You know, I'm not saying you should, but I can see why. When the pressure cooker is so much. But unfortunately, it's our responsibility. That's why it's so important then to say, how are you going to sort yourself out so that you can come back and deal with your life?
And and put yourself in a position where you are a better partner, you're a better father, you know, etc. So yeah.
Cool. Did we go through all the list?
I think finances. Yeah, post baby adjustment, which is also I mean, that transition from 1 to 2 kids, which I think threw us for a loop, man. Like, if I'm honest with you, that I don't think we were prepared enough or expected, you know, what would happen in terms of moving through the gears from being a parent of one who's a 5-year-old, who's almost independent, can vocalize, can say, I'm hungry, I don't want this, I don't want that, you know, and then all of a sudden there's 2. And, you know,
you don't know what's what.
You know, and then all of a sudden there's also us as well. You're talking about the strain on the marriage.
Because we forget about us.
Yeah.
You know?
You know, so I think even as a married couple, we also sort of took a lot of strain because I don't think we took stock of what this means for us individually.
Yeah.
As separate people, and also us as, you know, the couple dynamic. So there was a lot of, you know, also consternation and tension on that front, you know. And yeah, I don't know, man. You know, it's these things are all interlinked, you know, because then it also plays out, you know, with things happening on the finances, like we were talking earlier. It all just feeds in, and it becomes this one vicious cycle of, you know, mayhem and strife, and, you know, it's just continuous and it's ongoing. And like I was saying as well, you know, on the sort of third, you know, rough or sucky moment is you know, surviving without a car, man, and just trying to figure out now, how do we work this dynamic out. You know, we've got such divergent, you know, things to do. So how do we find each other, you know? And also for me, like, this I say sort of like tongue in cheek, you know, but I had an automatic. My car was an automatic. All of a sudden, my wife and I'm sharing my wife's car, and it's a manual. And it's frustrating me, and I'm hating it. I still hate it, but, you know, I'm grateful for it, but I still hate it.
No, I hear you, because I also wanted to sell my car. So I remember I speaking with a friend of mine, and he was doing very well at some point and lost everything.
Shucks.
You know, everything. I mean, he had a nice Range Rover, nice apartment, doing all right. Had to move back home, Soweto. And he was like, you know, dude, you can sell the car, but what's the price you're going to pay? Like, what's the other stress now you're going to add? Because your car's paid off, right? I was like, yeah. He's like, now you're going to think about public transport now. You got to think about how you're going to move with your kids, you know? So which is the stress that you're willing to, which you know, devil do you want to serve? Yeah. Because, the car's there. You think you're going to get the cash, pay off a few things, but now you don't have a car, you know? And you got kids that need to go to swimming, gymnastics. Now, what do you say? They don't go now. Yeah. Or when school things happen, parents' evenings, what are you doing?
Are you thinking?
You can always Uber, but, you know, you can't Uber to every activity. That's a cost on its own.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, man, the convenience that comes with having wheels, you know, it's almost like you can't quantify it. You can't put a price on it, but it makes life, the quality of life, that much better.
Yeah. Especially here, I mean, in Joburg. Yeah.
In the urban,
Yeah.
And especially being like a family of four, like, you know, we also a family of four, where we're actually realizing how much of a constraint it is to be sharing one car as a family of four, and having, like I say, completely, you know, divergent schedules. You know, like my wife is an artist. Things in her world work so differently from my world, which is more like, you know, structured and more formal. With her, things, you know, are so much more fluid, you know, and that, you know, it also puts a strain on the dynamic of having, you know, to share a car and whatnot. So, shucks, man, yeah, it's...
Okay. No, Marakzulu, boss.
Yeah.
We're here now.
Yeah.
No, thank you so much, man. So looking forward to... I'm very positive about the year. I have to start it off like that.
Yeah.
And have to... Well, for me, it literally is for my health.
Yeah.
I can't... I don't I don't have another option.
Yeah, there's no if, ands, or buts.
No, there's no if. I can't... No, but I think I can't afford to be sick, you know, because I have a family to look after, particularly about things, like you're saying, that are out of my control. You know, what happens at work really is out of my control, besides what I can produce.
Yeah.
You know, what the company decides, you know. So it's important that I'm here, I'm present for them, you know, and we figure this thing out. Rather let's get in the ring and fight, and then you now being sick, because that, it's a huge strain. I can see how my mom is. It's a huge strain on your children when you get ill, and we have to look after our health now, so that they are not in that situation when we're older. You know,
true.
Which is what we forget, that ultimately the kids end up looking after you.
True.
And
and that's the sucky thing about growing up, is that we are now at an age where we're bearing our parents.
Yeah.
You know, we're looking after our parents. We're worrying. It's almost as if the roles get inverted, right?
100%.
That they become the child and we become the adults, so to speak. I mean, and I say this because I've got one parent left, you know, and we had to experience losing a parent, I think 2 years ago, and that has completely altered the dynamic of the family, you know, in ways that we never imagined, you know, and like the void that my father left, you know, like there's days where I sit and think, shucks, man, I wish this chap was still around. I wouldn't have to think about this. I wouldn't have to worry about this, you know, even though he was a tricky
tricky
chap.
character.
Yeah, but there was just certain things where you knew that no, this guy's got it, you know, or I can pick up a phone and say. So yeah. I guess to say that all in all things considered, you know, health is wealth, as 100%. They say. Yeah.
Awesome, brother. Thank you so much. I'll see you on the next one.
No, for sure. Thank you, man.
Cool, man. Thank you also for listening to this episode. Please remember to like and share the content and rate it wherever you're listening. And please forward it to anybody who might find benefit in this kind of content. Again, thank you so much for listening. Till next episode. Sharp.